How are you doing, Internet? I'm Beannuts, and if, given the choice, you'd rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy, you're hardly alone. This is because, apparently, the #1 fear in North America is public speaking. Death is a distant second. I think that in most cases this comes down to a fear of unknown. After death, what happens? But as well in speaking, what happens if you fail? If you forget a line, if you flub a line, if a speech isn't received well by the audience, that kind of fear. Fortunately, there is something that can help you in order to work along with that fear. And trust me, it never really goes away, not completely. Anyway, that thing is Toastmasters. What Toastmasters is a club that allows you to practice and improve your public speaking, communication, and leadership skills. Each Toastmasters club works a little bit differently. Some of them meet for 1 hour in the evening or in the morning, some meet for 2, and some meet during a lunch hour. During a meeting, members as well as guests get the opportunity to practice in different speaking and leadership roles. And you can take on a smaller role, such as joke master to tell a joke and set the mood, or a more major role, such as chairing the meeting or presenting a speech during the meeting. One of the most important aspects of the Toastmasters programs is how manual-driven it is. There are manuals for everything, and they each give you projects with objectives to complete, some information on tools that can help you to complete those objectives with each speech or each role, and they each come with very valuable information to help you out. But as I said earlier, you're far from alone. In each Toastmasters club, you will find like-minded people who also want to improve their skills, and they want to help you improve. So you can come to other members, with veteran and new ones, for help on things about which you have doubts or which you think you might be a little bit weaker on. You never know, because some people who think they aren't funny actually are. You can find other people who are good storytellers or good at taking a technical subject and making it simple and understandable. Another thing that makes Toastmasters so valuable is all of the practice that you can get out of it. Besides taking on all the different roles to challenge yourself, you are also attending meetings weekly or bi-weekly or monthly on an ongoing basis. It is this ongoing nature to the Toastmasters Club which I find most valuable, at least in my own experience, because you can keep on doing it and keep on going and keep on practicing for as long as you want to, and as long as you go, you can keep on improving, though you improve the fastest when you participate and take on the roles yourself, rather than simply observing others do what they do and learning from that, although you can do that too. The main reason why so many people around the world find that they can go back and keep practicing and keep on improving is because it's in the Toastmasters mission statement. It's a friendly and supportive environment where you are encouraged to develop these skills, to become more self-confident, and to improve on an ongoing basis. For every role in the club, you can be evaluated, given value to your efforts and to your improvements. And that's important because even the word criticism sets people on the defensive. But here, you're encouraged to really blossom, to become better at the things at which you are good, and to become good at the things that may once have been your weaknesses. You may be wondering about the limits of this supporting nature of this club. And honestly, I'm much better at talking to a live audience in the same room as me than I am to a camera lens, where I can't see how people will react until they post their comments. It's actually very good. Those instances that I was talking about near the beginning of this video, where you flub your lines or forget about them, I've seen it happen. And people would have to pause and consider where they are, try to recover, and then continue, or even forget the rest of the speech entirely. This happened at the beginning of a member's speech, and they realized they didn't know where they were going to go next. So they apologized and sat back down, and people applauded him for his efforts. And as to not being received well, I once did a speech on the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, and I thought, if there was anything from Star Wars that everyone should know, it's the Falcon because of its unique design. But from most of the audience, all I got back was this blank stare. Clearly they didn't recognize it. There were one or two people who did, and they were smiling and nodding back because they knew what it was, but the rest of the audience didn't know at all. And I thought, oh God, but I've done so much preparation, I have to continue, and they have no idea what I'm talking about. So I had to continue with the rest of my speech and finish it off, but their evaluations reflected that they didn't know the basics of the Star Wars universe or about the Falcon or anything like that. And yet I still had to finish. Because of my experiences in Toastmasters, I believe I've become better at reading my audience as they are in the room. I can tell whether or not they're enjoying my speeches and try to adapt for that to fit their needs, their desires, and better serve them within my speeches. Of course, adaptation and improvisation doesn't work for everyone, and it has taken many years for me to be able to improvise through a speech almost as seamlessly as I can present a prepared speech. And how much experience is this? Well, I'm in my 14th year as a Toastmaster. I've achieved my first Distinguished Toastmasters Award, which is the second highest honor you can achieve within the educational program, and I'm working on my second one. I am often called a knowledgeable pillar of the club, an essential member. And so I have all this experience and a decent amount of knowledge in how Toastmasters is and how it works, and yet there's still something that comes up every single time. You know that statistic, right? Public speaking is the #1 fear in North America or America as a whole. Death is #2. That fear, that doesn't actually go away. Not entirely. But in my 14 years as a Toastmaster, which I mentioned before, I have learned to control it a little bit better. Yeah, it still get nervous, but I can use that nervous energy, make myself seem more enthusiastic for my subject. Instead of just having butterflies in my stomach, I can get them to fly in formation, and even do the occasional trick. That's something that I've picked up over my years learning and experiencing for myself what it is to speak on a regular basis. And that's the way that I've learned. And that, I believe, is one of the most valuable things about Toastmasters, that you can keep on doing it and doing it and doing it until you feel like maybe you've learned as much as you can. But the saying goes that if you've learned as much as you can at Toastmasters, if you get out of it as much as you can, you will never actually get out of Toastmasters because you can keep on learning. And I get this because every time I go to a meeting, I learn something new from one of the other members, and I learn something new from my own experience. And I believe that is what is so great about the club. You can keep going and you can keep learning, and it is so valuable in that aspect. I don't know about anything else really where you can keep on going and it has this ongoing nature that I've talked so much about. And I think that is the most unique key value of the Toastmasters Club, It's not this 8-week seminar that you pay $800 or whatever in order to attend, and then if you want to keep going on the program, there's either a more advanced track or you have to start over again and pay the same fee. Although there is a fee involved in this. There's a new member fee, which you pay only once, and there is an annual fee, which the members all pay every year, and that is about $200, give or take, depending on where you are. However, within that amount of money that you're spending, you're getting all this experience and all these opportunities and all this knowledge and all the friendships that you can develop with all the other members. So it's well worth that little pocket change that you're going to be spending every year in order to improve yourself so much that you can do all sorts of other things more easily. I have my current job as a library clerk because I had the practice at answering questions on an impromptu basis with table topics and with presenting to other people my ideas as well as myself. So now that I've talked about some of the value and some of the opportunities that you can experience at a Toastmasters club, I should probably tell you how to get into one. And you can go to toastmasters.org, that's Toastmasters International's website, and use the Find a Club feature to find something that fits your schedule and your location. And there are clubs in over 130 countries right now around the world, so you should be able to find one that fits you perfectly. From the Find a Club feature, when you find the one that fits you best, or several that can possibly fit you, what I would recommend is you will find some contact information for members of the club executive. So you get in touch with them and ask them about their clubs in particular, how it works, because each one is a little bit different, and tell them that you intend on going to visit so that they know that you are coming. And you can come as a guest to any club up to 3 times before they start really encouraging you to make a decision as to whether or not you want to join. And then you can also visit other clubs within your area. You don't have to decide right away. And even once you decide to join one club, you're also free to join multiple clubs as long as you pay the membership fees for each one that you do join. As I said, each club works a little bit differently, so you may find multiple ones that work. You don't actually need to be a member of multiple clubs in order to do things around with them. You can visit other clubs as a member of one club, and you can even ask the Vice President of Education of different clubs to allow you to take one of their speaking slots and present a speech. That way you can get more practice out of, say, the same speech and continually improve it. That's a strategy that some people recommend around contest time so that they can present something that's more polished to the group when they want to compete. That's called owning the stage. That said, you may want to start with just one club, and that's perfectly all right. When you join, you'll be paired with a mentor who will guide you through things to start, as well as your first 3 speeches, and they'll get you oriented in how things are done and tell you about the different aspects of the program if you ask about them. You really have to ask your mentor for whatever it is you need, because otherwise they won't know. And communication within a communication club is definitely key. Since there are so many ways in which we present ourselves to others, whether it's friends, family, co-workers, your boss, or other people in the world, it's important that you can have these opportunities to practice, to hone yourself and your skills, to improve your self-confidence. And these are things that Toastmasters can help you to achieve in great manner, as long as you continue to attend and improve. It's this opportunity that can help you to deal with these fears, which are perfectly normal, not to conquer them, but to deal with them. And that's a very important distinction. So, if you'd like to check out your local Toastmasters club, please go to toastmasters.org and look at all the clubs that are there. You can also check around YouTube. I'm sure there are speeches posted around that you can listen to, as well as a few of the TED Talks. You can also try to find some of the World Championship speeches to see what kinds of things you can shoot for as a goal. Although that may seem a little bit lofty now, you will at some point likely get to the point where that kind of thing can seem achievable. And hey, if you fall down, if you do flub, you can make that part of a speech. So once again, thank you everyone for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.